Hey, it's Dr. J. And guess what? It is Tuesday. And every Tuesday we come on board, and it's fortnightly now. We've got two experts. And I must say, our inner circle of experts are the best in my world and in the world as far as I'm concerned, because their advice they give everybody is top notch. It's always ahead of the game. And today we have Money Matters, the matters of money, because money doesn't matter unless you actually use it properly. Now, the guru, the coach, is Jackson.millan. Now, he's been doing this for many, many years, and he's helped businesses all around Australia and possibly the world. I hadn't asked him how global he's gone, but make hundreds of thousands, millions and billions of dollars. So today, I want to ask him some tickly questions, and I'm going to actually make sure that I'm sure he'll dance and he'll give you it straight, because he never beats around the bush. So as a segue, because they're all going to see where you are, mate. You're in the bush. So welcome, Jackson.
Steve, how you doing, mate? I'm joining you guys from the Southern Highlands at the moment. So away for a week camping, and I figured I'd join you guys on location. So we've had to traverse our way to the top of a hill in order to get 4G, just specifically for you guys. So I'm super pumped.
Well, look, mate, I'm so appreciative and so grateful for you for helping everybody, because the last two sessions have been invaluable. And I must say that the way you frame things makes it easy for people to understand, whether they're just starting or whether they're in a business and flourishing, or if they really want to make sure they, knuckle down and take some opportunities which are available as we speak. So with no further ado, our topic today is steps to creating the holy grail, passive income. Everyone wants it, but I don't believe that people really know what passive income is. And I'd love to start with that from all your experience. And I know this is something that you create, and it's whether it's passive or it's nurtured income, whatever you'd like to call it. I'd love to know from a wealth creation, not an advisor, from a wealth creation coaching and a process that you use to actually help your clients. And what's your definition of it, mate?
Well, I think the perfect metaphor for passive income is literally what I'm doing right now. Now, excuse the wind, guys, but let me give you guys an example. I'm traveling around with my partner and my two dogs, and to me, this is passive income. It's being able to do what you want, when you want it, with whom you want, without having to answer to anyone. And I think we've got a unique opportunity, Steve, where we are in this post-coronavirus world, and we have rewritten the rules of what passive income really can be. Prior to all of this, we felt like we had to leave our box, to jump in a box, to go to another box, to be inside the box, to be able to produce the income we needed to create passive income. However, we've been given a great opportunity to get outside of the box, get outside of the matrix, and ultimately be able to rewrite the rules in how we all create passive income for the future. So passive income is essentially having the ability to create money in whatever environment that you want. For me, it's being able to escape the city, escape the hustle and bustle, go to the bush, even though it's extremely windy and freezing cold. I'm a glutton for punishment, Steve. And be able to make money irrespective of my geographical location. Now, from a traditional sense, most people define passive income as being making money while you sleep, right? As you so eloquently put, Steve, it's the best employee that you'll ever have. It's the employee that never sleeps. It's the ability to create income 24 hours a day. The problem is that most people don't really understand how to create that passive income. And there are really only three ways to do it, which we're going to dive in today, and we're going to talk about it in a lot more depth to show you guys what it is not and what passive income really is.
Because I think it's quite apparent to me that everyone really would love to be able to, jump in the car, go out to the bush, go to the beach, go skiing, doing the things that they want to do to make them happy and their family happy. But sometimes their means don't allow them to do that. But if they work hard and actually work smart and work with somebody that can coach them in that area, and I don't believe you can read a book and do it, you can actually really create a lifestyle. And that's what it's about. We work hard to create a lifestyle that makes us happy. So a little while ago, I was sitting down with a very close friend, retired now, and he asked me a question. And he said, "Oh, Steve, when did you do your assets and liabilities last?" I said, "Oh, gee whiz, not long ago, really, because we had to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that." He said, "Oh, okay." Well, he said, "Tell me some of your assets." So I started to rattle off some things. And he started to write things down. I thought, "Oh, gee whiz, okay." And he looked at them all and said, "Oh, they're your possessions." I said, "Yeah." He said, "You own them?" I said, "Yes." He said, "What are your assets?" And I went, "Well, they're all down there." He said, "Oh, well, if you stop working today, how's your stereo going to make some money for you?"
Yeah.
Well, your house, you got on a mortgage and so forth. How's that going to make money for you? Do you have anything that actually makes you money while you don't have to do anything in that list? And I looked at it and went, my bank account. He said, "Oh, that bank account, it gives you 0.000 nothing." I said, he said, "Well," I said, "You got the right idea, Steve, but he said, my definition of an asset is something that generates revenues for you." Could be a business, could be investments, but the money is working, not you. So if you stop working today, does your money stop? What's going to support you except the government? And it was a really brutal conversation. Go through all of your justifications and all the stuff, but really when it comes down to it, when you ask people how many things actually generate incomes that will give you the revenues that you require without you doing anything, the answer is scary.
Exactly.
What's your thoughts on that conversation and about his way of thinking about what is a real asset?
Yeah, I agree with it. And I think that for many people, they don't understand how to really make money work for them. And for that reason, that's the reason why many people never achieve true financial freedom. Now, in this world, there are only 3 ways to create true passive income and in turn create true financial freedom. There is business, having a business that operates without you. For example, right now I have a team of 23 people who are running my business for me while I'm off grid. Sure, I jump and I check my emails every once in a while. I jump on our group chat and I just check in and see how things are going. But every single time I go away, I can then improve the system to create more passive income without me having to be involved. The second way is property. Having good quality property that produces you with rental income above and beyond the expenses of that property. The big problem for many people is they chase this whole idea of negative gearing. Oh, it's going to save me tax. I'm going to be able to pay less to the tax man. Well, that actually means that you are losing money. And the third way is shares, which a majority of people that I've encountered are absolutely terrified of. They've heard so many horror stories. But the great thing about the share market is if we buy good quality shares that pay us consistent dividends, we don't have to worry about tenants. We don't have to worry about maintenance. We don't have to worry about rates. All we have to worry about is collecting the check each and every single quarter. Now, for many people, when they think about passive income, they automatically go to property. And don't get me wrong, Steve, I love property. Property is fantastic. We live and breathe property every single day. However, the barrier to entry to get into property is so high. And the reality is that if you are buying one property every 5 years, you're doing very well. You're in the elite few. I believe the numbers are that less than 6% of Australians have 2 or more properties, and less than 1% of Australians have more than 6 properties. Now think about it this way. How long is it going to take you to get a property portfolio to be positively geared, producing you enough to achieve true financial freedom that provides you with positive cash flow of $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 a year? It's a huge portfolio, I tell you right now. And that's the biggest issue, that people don't have the right strategy to allow them to create passive income. Now, this is very contrary to most people, Steve, what most people say, because there's so many gurus out there, Robert Kiyosaki and all of these gurus that preach that property is the ticket to achieving financial freedom. It is a component, but it is not the easiest way to financial freedom. The easiest way to financial freedom is firstly mastering your active income. If you can master your active income and create a mechanism that allows you to turn that active income into passive wealth, then you will achieve financial freedom, I assure you. The biggest problem is most people are focusing on the creation of passive income in an unsustainable or a very, very difficult and roundabout way.
So with that in mind, is there a process? It's all based on a process that is, I believe, and please correct me if I'm wrong here, that's combined with coaching and people keeping you in the right direction. A lot of people get a process and they say, oh, follow this process and so forth, you'll be okay. But unless you get coaching with the processes, sometimes we'll make some mistakes based on our interpretation of that process. Correct. So is there a process that makes passive income achievable? Now, definitely. I think we'll go back to what you just said, is mastering your active income, to making sure that you're creating either some surplus. It could either be an increasing, let's say, your revenues or your sales, your commissions,
yep,
or reducing your expenditure. Stop living beyond your means. But as long as that you have something at the end, you can then do something with it. Whether it's $100, whether it's $200, it's then, pay yourself first. Would that be one of the steps? Is to make it?
It definitely is. Here's the thing: the thing that most people get wrong when it comes to creating passive income is they don't actually know how much passive income they need. Now, let me put this to you guys. Let's say that you went into a travel agent and you said, hey, I want to go on a trip. I heard that it's nice to drive this time of year. Maybe I should take a boat. What would you recommend? What's the first thing they're going to ask you? Where do you want to go?
Where do you want to go?
And this is the thing. Most people are trying to deploy these passive income vehicles without firstly defining the destination. We've spoken about this a lot of times, and I know that you guys might hear us harping on about this, but it is so important because it is the number one flaw that people make when it comes to working towards financial freedom.
Jackson, so if you hear this regularly, it's going to sink in. Once is never enough, as you know, we preach it all the time. So, it's really critical. I'm really grateful that you're bringing it up again, because sometimes it takes 5 or 6 hits before it sinks in. So go for your life.
So here's what you need to do, guys. Don't just pluck a financial freedom number out of the air, because honestly, for everyone that I speak to before we go through this exercise, what they believe is their financial freedom figure is significantly higher than what they actually need. We've heard some outrageous figures that people need $300,000 a year in passive income. Bullshit. I've never seen somebody in my career over the last 13 years need $300,000 a year in passive income. It would be nice, but they can achieve financial freedom well before that. So why set an unrealistic goal if, one, it's going to take you so long to get there, and two, it doesn't mean anything. So the first thing you need to do is you need to pull out that profit and loss again that we spoke about previously. The personal profit and loss.
Personal profit and loss, is that right?
Exactly.
Yes.
And then I want you to crunch the numbers on what your life would look like if you achieved financial freedom. So you take your base version, the one that reflects your situation right now, and remove the things that are not going to be there. So let's say that by the time you achieve financial freedom, the kids have flown the coop. Maybe those loans, the car loan, the personal loan, the home loan are all going to be paid off. You're going to have all of this extra time. So you need to add in extra lifestyle spending and travel expenses. And then work out, what do you need on an annual basis in order to have financial freedom for you? Let's say that it's $70,000 a year. Then we need to gross that up for tax. So let's say, and you can jump onto our website and go to the calculators section. So it's aureusfinancial.com.au/calculators/gross up calculator. And what it allows you to do is to chuck in your net income that you need, and it'll turn it up to a gross figure. Because at the end of the day, we're going to have to pay the tax man, right? So let's say, argument's sake, it's 100 grand a year. We need to work out, let's assume that our portfolio makes us 5% of income on that portfolio. So if we want to make 100,000 at 5%, that we need $2 million of net worth to allow us to achieve that. So you guys can calculate that and work out your financial freedom figure, divide that by 5, and then times that by 100.
So I'll get you to say that again, mate, so everyone that's listening can actually write that down.
So your financial freedom figure, divide it by 5 and times it by 100. So if it's 100,000 you need, that's $2 million of net worth. Now, we then need to work out, what do we need to do to achieve that? So you can jump onto Google and type in compounding calculator, and there should be, the top one should be the Money Smart calculator. And what I want you to do is input different figures of your starting balance, your monthly contribution, and your rate of return, and also the number of years that you want to take to achieve financial freedom, and work out how long it's going to take you to achieve that number. And that's a very rudimentary plan. And you are now doing more than 95% of the population when it comes to working towards financial freedom.
Right. So this is terrific, mate. So let's go back to that formula, and then I'll just confirm it's the compounding calculator in Google. So if you could just say that again for everybody, because I guarantee they'll be dashing around for pieces of paper right now.
That's
Say,
right.
let you go again, my friend.
So jump on Google, type in compound interest calculator. The top one should be the Money Smart website. Go into that one. Okay. And what you're going to do is you're going to play around with the inputs to be able to work out what you need to do to achieve that net wealth target. So how much are you starting with? How much are you contributing monthly? What's the timeline? How long are you prepared to wait? What is the rate of return that you're going to expect to take, and the level of risk that you're prepared to take to get to that goal? And these are the levers that we have the ability to pull in order to achieve financial freedom.
So in the questions I was going to ask you is give us 3 steps. So the first, I just want to, you've answered them, my friend. Personal P&L, let's go back and find out what that number is. What you then do is you work on your formula and do your multiples by 5, and then go to the compound calculator and muck around with the numbers based on the period that you want to do that in, and you'll have a good starting point on what you then need. Now, when you then know what you need, what do you then do?
Now you need to implement a strategy.
Talk to you. Would that be right?
And here's the problem, Steve, that most people don't have what we call an investment operating system. And what this means is that their investing is knee-jerk. We find that people often fit into one of 2 camps. They either do nothing because they're paralyzed by fear of getting it wrong, so they just have their cash accumulate in the bank account. And there's a very, very quick example that you can do in that compounding calculator is put the interest rate to 1%, which is pretty generous at the moment, and look at how much longer it takes you to achieve that goal. And that is the risk of doing nothing, having it sit there in the bank. On the flip side is that people feel like they're missing out, and they overcompensate, and they take too much risk, an immeasurable level of risk. Oh, Bob over there is investing in cryptocurrency. I'm going to have a crack at that. Oh, this person on TikTok told me to buy Tesla shares. I'm going to have a crack at that. Oh, I heard the barbecue, Uncle Phil is investing in this. Oh, that sounds pretty good. And this is where you do more harm than good, because you are gambling. You may as well go and pull the money out of your bank account, go to the pokies at your local RSL and start feeding in $100 bills and keep hitting that feature button. I don't play the pokies. I just, that's what I think happens. But literally, that is what you are doing if you do not have an investment operating system. Now, you're probably going to ask, what is an investment operating system? Now, an investment operating system is an asset allocation strategy that allows you to deploy your active income and allocate and invest your surplus on autopilot without you ever having to worry about it. Now, think about how your direct debits come out of your bank account. Things like your fitness membership and your Netflix and whatever else you've got coming out. Now, those things are not investments, are they?
No.
But imagine if you could do exactly the same thing with your financial freedom strategy, where without you even having to think about it, your investments were automatically allocated each and every single month, allowing you to live your life without having to think about it twice.
And the big rock here is that having that done regularly, but having someone to advise you where it goes, not just saying, just set and forget, because of the consequences of that, is, as you said, go and get some shares here, there, and everywhere, and you try to play stock market. I think you said it perfectly. You're gambling, you're not investing.
Exactly.
And if you want to gamble, if you've got $5,000, you'd like to up to losing, then play the game. But if you want to invest, I'm just going to throw it out to everybody. I truly believe you need someone, not just to give you some advice, but actually then to hold your hand a little bit as it progresses, because there's always going to be ups and downs, but to limit the risk but maximize the return. Would you agree?
Exactly. And here's the thing. Most people invest from a position of only having a very little bit of information or education. Before we deploy $1 of money in our clients' automated investment operating systems, we educate them around all of the different asset classes, the pros and cons, the ups and the downs, and we condition them so they have an iron will that when markets do get volatile and things go up and down, that they can stick the course. Because the market has never taken $1 from anyone. What's taken dollars from you, if you've ever invested and got burnt before, is typically your behavior.
That's when they say, oh my goodness, it's dropping, so we'll sell. Get rid of it, they reckon. And then the people that sit on it have the courage, or maybe the advice to have the courage to sit on it. All of a sudden, 3 years later, it's like triple the size. You say, oh my goodness, I got out at the wrong time.
Exactly. Or even better yet, that when the market's falling, that we condition our clients to get excited, and that's the best time to buy. Because think about it. Look at your investment portfolio like the Boxing Day sales. Like if the market falls, you should get excited. You go, wow, I'm going to go pick up that new flat screen TV for half price. But better yet, that flat screen TV that you're going to buy at half price is going to provide you with exponential returns and also provide you with an increased level of passive income well into the future.
So if we segue this into some of the mistakes, I would suggest it's just not doing what we've just said, really. It's not knowing the number and having a fictitious number pulled out of nowhere. Would it be not understanding where to put your money, but also not having an operating system that works automatically, that you've got some advice to what to do, and have someone give you, how can we say, encouragement, coaching, to say, once you're doing it, stand the course of time and make sure that you have stickability, so to speak.
Yeah, there's a few big mistakes I find, Steve. And the first one is that most people don't understand how to master their active income first. Like if you think that you're just going to be able to invest a one-off $1,000 or $5,000 or whatever into an investment, and that's going to get you where you need to go, that's very misguided. It is your contribution, an ongoing contribution, ideally monthly, to your portfolio over an extended period of time, that is going to get you to financial freedom.
Would it be in multiple different types of portfolio? It wouldn't just be in one lot of shares. It would be lots of different things. It could be through indexing or whatever the case may be, but there'll be different buckets that you put it in. Would that be right?
Exactly. We implement for all of our clients what we call a core satellite strategy, where the core of their portfolio is ideally property, good quality blue chip property that we know is going to do well over the long term. And then our satellite strategy is a diversified mix of index funds and exchange traded funds that give us exposure across the whole world. And imagine having an investment strategy that gave you exposure to over 4,000 underlying investments that was automatically managed without you having to worry about it. And this puts you in the upper echelon of people in the world, because how many people do you know that have over 4,000 investments in their portfolio?
Maybe you.
So this is the power of this. The second thing is impatience. when you look at that compounding calculator, you'll be able to see that, particularly if you use, say, an 8% assumed rate of return, it takes about 15 years for the compounding to take over your contribution. So over that period of time, most of the contribution and the building up of the portfolio is your contribution. It's the forced savings of you paying yourself first and putting money away. And then like a snowball, the compounding is going to grow, and about that 15-year point, it takes over. And that is the catalyst. That's the turning point of your portfolio, whereby your returns in your portfolio exceed the amount that you can contribute. That's where we start cooking with gas.
So someone came to you and said, Jackson, I'd like to have a plan of action to have X amount of money, but I've got a period of time. Let's say it's not 15 years. He said, I'd like to do this in, let's say, 8 years.
Yep.
You can reverse engineer that and find out what they would need to do. Is that right?
Exactly. And the number one factor there, Steve, is going to be point number one, mastering your active income, because it is unlikely going to be like the passive income and the compounding of your portfolio will definitely play a role. However, your contributions play a far more significant role in 15 years or less than the market.
Terrific.
And of course, you could get lucky. You could time it perfectly. You could buy a property in an up and coming area that's going to shoot the lights out and double in 5 years. But we want to take the least amount of risk in order to get to the outcome. And I'd much prefer to have a conservative strategy that presupposes and almost guarantees your ability to achieve the outcome, as opposed to promising your world and delivering nothing.
That's why it's really critical to have people that have process systems, but have historically successful processes that they can prove. I'm a big proof person, as you know.
Yep.
Prove it's true. Don't tell me, show me. So I hear you loud and clear. This is absolutely fantastic, and I love the simplistic nature that you put it in, but there's a lot of thought that goes behind it. But I like the way you make it easy for people to understand, because they say they want the passive income. It's all silver balls, but they're always gonna, and they never achieve. So Darren, I'm sure you've got a couple of questions for Jackson. So why don't you fire a couple at him?
Yeah, Jackson, thank you. Firstly, I'm stunned at those Australian property numbers that you rolled out. Was it less than 6% of Australians have more than 2 properties? Is that right?
Correct.
Yep. And is that 2 investment properties, or is it property to live in and 1 investment?
Yeah. Typically 1 property to live in, 1 is an investment.
Yeah. And what was the other stat? You had a 1% stat. I missed that.
Less than 1% of Australians have 6 or more properties.
Right. Wow, it's amazing, isn't it?
Scary stat. And property's the Australian dream. Like, think about it this way, that 70% of all properties in Australia are owner occupied. So that means that the jump from just 1 property to 2 properties, we have like a 64% drop-off rate between those people who have 1 property and 2 properties. That's a really scary statistic. And the main reason for this is that most people don't understand that property and finance are one and the same thing. And the biggest risk that we see, guys, is that when people buy a property, they don't understand the finance game, because unless you're the heir to a multi-million-dollar fortune, and your surname is Rothschild or one of these famous families, which I don't know why you'd be on this webinar, but if you're like the rest of us, you're at the mercy of the bank when it comes to building your property portfolio. And the issue is not ambition. The issue is that people don't understand the finance game. They don't understand how to dance to the bank's tune, because at the end of the day, they're at the mercy of the bank when it comes to scaling that property portfolio. And this is something that we spend a lot of time with our clients, is we actually create them a lending strategy. And people, their minds are blown when they hear this concept. Jackson, a lending strategy, I just go to the bank and fill out the paperwork and they give me the money. No, it doesn't work like that. We all have what's called a debt ceiling. It is the maximum amount of money in your current circumstance that the banks will lend you. The common misconception is that people believe that they cannot change that debt ceiling. You definitely can, which takes me back to point 1 of mastering your active income. With the help of you guys, particularly if you're in a sales role, you run a business where you've got commissions, you've got bonuses, you've got profit, you can increase your income every year, right? So if we want to buy another property, if we want to escape the 6% or even get to the 1%, then we can have a forward-facing lending strategy every single year. We say, hey, Darren, hey, Steve, if you want to buy that next property, this is how much income you've got to show. This is how many sales you need to do. This is how many calls you need to make, where we can link the activity to the outcome. How much more energy you're going to have when you get on that phone call, when you know that every single one of those phone calls is going to get you closer to your next investment property.
Yeah.
Jackson, the other thing that jumped out at me was the business that operates without you. And I just think about, this time now and what some businesses are going through right now. Yeah, that's an immediate thing. And what came to mind was a business that operates without you, even within a business that operates with you. So for some business owners that have a business that they need to be there and maybe it's being shut down, well, how good is it to have an online product or a webinar or a group of webinars that they can create income in without having to be there? So it creates the best of both worlds, doesn't it?
Exactly. Sorry, the dogs are in the background. But here's the thing, guys. Your business is your best wealth creation vehicle. Look at every single rich list in the world. And the majority of those people are there because of business. So success leaves clues. And if you look at all of those businesses, the biggest businesses in the world, the owners of those businesses do not run them. Look at every publicly listed company. Now, the C-suite, the executives might own some shares, but the majority of the shares are owned by the shareholders who don't work in the business. So most small business owners, in contrast, create a job for themselves. They are at the mercy of their business. They work for their business as opposed to their business working for them. Now, the best thing that you can do is test your business. Use this opportunity in this coronavirus situation to create new offerings, to go from an offline to online, to be able to diversify your income streams, to give yourself the freedom to work from anywhere. Because here's the thing, guys, as long as I've got a 4G connection in it, I've had to struggle a little bit today to get it, but as long as I've got an internet connection, I've literally got a tripod, a set of headphones, and my phone that I can run my business from anywhere in the world. Now, is that what you want? And if that's what you want, then how can you create the right systems and processes and frameworks in your business to be able to create that lifestyle business, the one that allows you to stick the marathon? Because, hey, I don't know how many business owners are going to be able to slog out doing 80 hours a week, 7 days a week for the rest of their lives. Whereas this, for me, I can do this to the day I die.
It's that digital lifestyle, isn't it? And I must say, there's never been a better time in the world where we can actually start to create these. If we were talking about this 20 years ago, you'd think you're a Martian.
100%.
Now we can actually do it. So with the technology at our fingertips and having that ability, once you've got your surpluses, you can then work with your coach or your investments, and you can check it out while you're sitting on a mountain if you've got a little bit of 4G. So it sounds like that's a good place to start.
Yeah, look, I think ask yourself, what do you want, guys? And this is the thing. My motto is that as a business owner or as somebody who has control over your ability to earn an income, you need to work out what it is that you want and how can you use that amazing vehicle that you've got to be able to manufacture the life of your choosing. Because at the end of the day, when you escape that matrix, you get out of the monotony of everyday life where you feel like that you're just trapped, going through the motions in pursuit of that idea of the traditional financial freedom where you retire at 65 when you're old and grey and cruise for the rest of your life on P&O or whatever it is that you want to do. That's not a life by my definition. Why should you be investing 40 years of your life in pursuit of maybe 10, 15 good years? Like, that doesn't sound like a good investment to me.
So it's just hear them here is that the sooner someone starts talking about this, the better.
Yep. And follow my motto. You live for today and you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow's not guaranteed, guys.
Right. I think it's a good motto to let you climb another mountain, because how do people look? I'm sure that everyone's written a lot of stuff down here this morning. I'm sure they're going to want to take some action on it. What can they do to actually find out a bit more, maybe talk to you, some of your team, maybe to get those initial stages done so they can maybe start the foundations on getting that personal P&L, finding out where they want to go and getting rid of some of the things that aren't working. So how can they do that?
So guys, reach out for a chat. Let's jump on a call. Let's help you create your game plan for financial freedom. Whether it be being able to go and tour with your family and enjoy quality time, create these memories, and be able to live life on your own terms, or whether it's just giving yourself the peace of mind and certainty to know that your money is working for you. Now is the time to do it. There is a tremendous amount of opportunity out there. And if you can navigate this particular situation in terms of the first recession in 30 years in this country and unprecedented times in terms of this health crisis, that you are going to come out the other end not only surviving, but thriving.
Right.
So invest the time. If this is something that you want to do, invest the time. We'll have a conversation. We'll help you map out the game plan and work out what's the right path to achieve the life that you really want.
So how do they do that, mate? What would they need to do?
Guys, add me on Facebook. So if you're not already a friend of mine, add me on Facebook. So just search for Jackson.millan. Feel free to join our free Facebook group, which is the Your Lifestyle Business Facebook group. And just reach out to us. Let's have a conversation. Let's see how we can help you and keep pushing it forwards.
Right. So it's a Your Lifestyle Facebook group, Jackson.millan. Yep. Pop onto there, have a bit of a listen, and reach out because you're very active in that area. With some of the videos and the advice you're giving in that group is just outstanding. So Jack, that's Your Lifestyle.
Your Lifestyle Business. I'll give you guys the links so you can share that with the crew. And guys, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second best time's today. So let's start planting, eh?
Terrific. Good way to wrap it up. So anything else to add, Darren?
Yeah, I'm just sitting here smiling because I love the fact that you're delivering this and living it. You know, you're not sitting on a rented yacht on the harbour or got a green screen pretending you're at the Bahamas. You're living and breathing it, and you step out of your car and you show us your environment, and it's just outstanding and inspirational. So thanks for taking the time on your time off to give us some very valuable tips.
My pleasure, mate. Here's the thing, guys. You're the master of your own destiny. And I think there's a lot of people out there that talk the talk and don't walk the walk. So I'm hoping to be a living example of that.
Fantastic. Well, mate, again, thanks so much. It's been an absolute gold mine today. So I'll zip it off to all of our guys in SAC and also the Sales Success Club. And guys, hope they actually get out there and join the Facebook group. Thanks, mate. I appreciate it.
Pleasure as always.
Right, gang. What did you learn? You learned what not to do. You learned what to do, set a sound foundation. But you know what? I'm sure you've written down tons of stuff. As we always say, so it's what you do about the stuff that's going to make a difference. How are you going to raise the bar, and where are you going to get the help? Reach out to Jackson, get on that Facebook group, and I'll put the links underneath and make sure you click there. Reach out for help. If you don't put your hand up for help, no one's going to come to your rescue. So take some massive action. Gee whiz, and all those 3 steps that Jackson told you, that you might forget them. So watch this again, because once is never enough. I'm Dr. J. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.